How's it going, everyone? It's Sam. Today I want to talk to you about some of the best cryptos to buy now. We're going to take a look at some of the top 10 lists, but I also want to cover a lot of the market news because there's actually a good amount of stuff that you should know pretty quickly because a lot of things happen over the next few days, and a lot of things have started to happen just today. So I'm going to talk about all those things in a moment. If you guys don't mind hitting the like button and subscribe button, I appreciate that. If you want to support the channel, there is a link to BlockFi underneath the video. You get some free money. I get some free money as long as you start depositing there. You can get up to a $250 bonus, and you can hold crypto on there. If you're outside the US, you actually get paid every single month to hold your crypto there. Also, there's a link down there to Unstoppable Domains. They give away Unstoppable Domain store credits all the time. You can get a readable wallet address using that link underneath the video. Now, the crypto market is looking pretty good. I talked about this yesterday, whether yesterday was a bottom, and a lot of indicators showed that it might be. Now we're up about $2,000 just from yesterday. You can see over the last few days, nice little pump, sideways a little bit, then a nice little pump here today as well. A lot of altcoins also looking good. Overall, everyone's a little bit happier in the crypto market. So I'm going to, again, cover the top 10 cryptos and what I think about each of them here in a moment. But first of all, let's look at something that's happening tomorrow. Tesla has earnings. Now, I always am interested in Tesla earnings, even before I was an investor, a heavy investor, that is. Because of the fact that they own Bitcoin. Now, I don't necessarily think that they'll talk about Bitcoin. They haven't in like a year almost. But there's always that possibility that either they're going to accept Bitcoin as payment again, or they bought a little bit more Bitcoin. Most likely, though, again, they're not going to do anything. However, it's still important to watch Tesla's earnings, first of all, because I'm a large investor in Tesla. It's my top stock holding, but also because it kicks off earnings for tech companies. Now, last time we had earnings, really the story of earnings last quarter was that if you didn't beat, you were going to fall down in price dramatically. And even if you did beat, you could still fall down in price. I mean, there are companies that went down 20, 30%, large companies. You can see that's when the NASDAQ started to fall, really at the start of the new year. But then we had some tech earnings and it fell even further. The NASDAQ fell about 12% after the earnings started to happen. Now, we've kind of just ranged sideways since that point. Now we've come back a little bit, just about 5%, but we're still not where we were at the beginning of the year. And that's similar to what happened to crypto around that time. When tech earnings started, we actually fell down from about 43,000 all the way down to about 34,000. I mean, there's like mayhem for a couple days because tech companies were falling down, crypto is falling down. Now, I think this earnings will go pretty well just because there was so much pain from last quarter, and a lot of these stocks are still down significantly. So I wouldn't be surprised if these earnings went pretty well for the major tech companies. And then we saw crypto continue to move up. We also are getting close to the 50-day moving average here. We need to break through about 42,100 as of now. And then after that, we have the $42,500 resistance, and then we can move on from there. It would be nice to flip those into support and keep on moving up. Now, we also got news today that the Australian Bitcoin spot ETF is going to start trading next week. This is big because now we have Canada, Germany, Brazil, Singapore, and Australia. There's more and more pressure, I think, on the US to allow this Bitcoin spot ETF as all these other countries are getting them. There's less and less reason for the US not to have one, and there's just going to be greater and greater pressure. So that's great. Also, let's not forget that the spot Bitcoin ETF in Australia in general is great as well, because it will lock up more and more Bitcoin as time goes on. People will continue to invest in it. I also want to take a look at the third largest whale wallet. And you can see here, they've actually been adding. So they have 125,000 Bitcoin. Now, I like looking at this wallet because the first two wallets are Binance and Bitfinex. So this is the largest single wallet whale out there that's not an exchange. You can see they're significantly in the profit. They have been pretty wise about their buys. I mean, when you look at some of the last sells they had, they were selling at 44,000, and then we fell down from there. They sold when we got up to 41, so not a great sell there, but it's a small part of their portfolio. They sold a little bit at 44. They sold more at 46, more at 46 again, and then we fell back down from there. So they've been pretty wise about, taking profits. They're pretty much just trading in a range right now. They even sold back when we were around 67,000. They sold at pretty much the top. Now they're accumulating. So in this range, they didn't really buy anything. You can see they're little buys, like $1 or something like that, but they didn't really accumulate any there. They were pretty much just selling. Now they're buying up a significant amount. I mean, we're talking about a couple hundred Bitcoin here, a couple thousand Bitcoin there, and they are buying in this range. So maybe we'll see them offload a little bit if we go back to that $46,000, $47,000 range. It seems like they've been selling a lot there, but for now they are buying. They think that this is a good time to accumulate. Now, I just want to show that because I think it is important. It's cool to look at what the whales are doing, and this is one of the only assets that you can see it so clearly and in real time. Now, that whale is buying, but the institutional investor report shows something different. So this is back looking a little bit. This is from last week. We can see that the flows came out of Bitcoin, came out of Ethereum. We also had a little bit coming off Solana and Cardano and other. So pretty much every single asset had money flowing out of it except for multi-asset. This isn't a huge surprise. That's what we had the week before, essentially. It's actually come down a little bit from then. They say that's most likely due to the hawkish Fed. But, you know, I think as time goes on, we'll see it flip right back around when things are looking a little bit better. Now, one thing that I thought was pretty cool and something that I hadn't really thought about too much, this just came out. Solana DeFi platform Hedge raises $3.7 million to offer interest-free loans. So this is actually backed by some large investors, Pantera Capital, Solana Ventures, Shima Capital, and DCM. And this allows you to borrow 90% loan-to-value ratio, meaning that you only need a deposit about 10% more than what you actually want to pull out of the loan. Now, I thought this was pretty cool because I hadn't really considered this too much. Like I've thought about Bitcoin-backed loans and even Ethereum. But when I started to think about cryptos that have staking, it makes it really easy to get an interest-free loan. There should be a lot of companies that do this because they can go and stake it for you. You might even be able to get an interest-free loan and get paid to have the loan because let's say Solana pays 6% and then they get your Solana, right? You give them your Solana. Let's say they go stake it at 6%. Well, they're getting that 6%. Maybe they even pay you 1 or 2% of that and you get some of your crypto back. So you're gaining interest and you don't have to pay anything. They just get that difference between what it's staking for and what they're paying you. So that is really cool. Like I might have to see if I can get involved in this in some way because I think that's genius. And there's nothing like that in today's day and age, like in banking. No one's going to pay you to get a loan against the money that you just put up or the assets you just put up. Imagine you could get a loan against your stock and you could get paid 1 or 2% for that. Now, that's a little bit different, but I think that's really interesting when you think about it. So I just wanted to cover that news. It just came out just as of a few minutes ago. We also got the Ethereum Foundation Treasury information for the first time, I believe, ever. They talked about their fund, essentially, how much they have in their treasury. They have about $1.6 billion split with about $1.3 billion in crypto and $300 million in non-crypto investments. They have the vast majority in ETH and a little bit that's not in ETH. They have some just in cash because they think that because ETH's prices have raised so much, it gives them a little greater safety margin. I think this is positive though, because a lot of people didn't know how much Ethereum they actually held. They thought that might be a huge part of the supply, but it's only about 0.3% of the total ETH supply. So sure, if they went and dumped $1 billion worth of Ethereum on the market, that'd be horrible. It would push down the price, but it's not like they have 10 or 20 or 30 billion, right? And they're not looking to dump on the market anytime soon. They've taken slight profits, it sounds like, but the majority of what they hold is still in Ethereum. Now, let's take a look at the overall market. I want to talk about the cryptos that I like at today's prices. First of all, let's go through Bitcoin. I like Bitcoin at any time, especially when it's not at all-time highs. I mean, right now at 41,000, 42,000, you're essentially still getting a 25x over the next decade, in my opinion, probably even more than that. I think it's going to push past 1 million at some point in the next 10 years. So I think buying now, still a great long-term hold, and it's the only thing that you know will be in the top 2 or 3 cryptos 10 years down the line, right? We don't know if Ethereum is going to be number 1, number 2, number 3 down the road, but Bitcoin I feel pretty certain about. Now, I think, like I said, I think it's a good buy right now, but of course, do your own research. I'm not telling you to go buy it. I always have some cash on the sidelines just in case there is some kind of dip. Ethereum, I think, is really good under 3,000. If you can buy it even below that, that's great. I just get worried with the 2.0 upgrade unlock of a large amount of Ethereum that there could be a little bit of a dump then, but that's being pushed back. I think once they set that date, it will start to continue to move up. And I am pretty bullish on Ethereum overall. It's still a great large asset for investors to invest in, like some kind of institutional investors, because it doesn't move. The market cap won't move that much if they put $1 billion in it or 500 million compared to a lot of these other smaller cryptos. So I still like Ethereum, especially after they upgrade and can start scaling. I think it'll be really beneficial and it will turn to deflation as opposed to inflation. But we don't know when that's actually going to happen, and it continues to get pushed back. Tether, I don't like Tether as a stablecoin, but we won't talk about it too much. I'd rather have USDC or UST. BNB is pretty good. I sold all my BNB, I want to say, recently. I sold all of it, not because I dislike the crypto, just because I don't see catalysts for it in the future. Like they have a constant burn. They have a monthly, quarterly burn. And I think that's probably the best thing going for them. They're really easy to build on as well. And Binance is a huge exchange. I just don't see the future. I don't know where it's going moving forward. So I'd rather put my money in a smaller crypto that I think has more potential, or one of the top cryptos I'm not as nervous about. But this has been the third largest crypto for a long time, maybe third or fourth. I think Cardano might have passed at some point, but I just don't see the vision. It doesn't move very much to the downside, which is nice. It's just like a less risky version of any of these down here, just not as much potential either. USDC I like as a stable coin. XRP I'm not a huge fan of, mostly just because I don't like my investment to be focused on one catalyst, and that's something that's changed over time. I used to like to take bets like that, but I don't think you need to bet on XRP to do well in crypto. I just don't know what's going to happen with SEC. I don't know even after that gets announced if it will move up or if it'll be a sell the news type of event where a lot of people are waiting for it to pump. Maybe it doesn't pump and then everyone dumps off. Just something that I'm not real comfortable with. Nothing against it, but I just don't see the vision that a lot of other people see, especially because it's supposed to be used as a payment rail for banks. And I think Bitcoin will be that after the Jack Mallers announcement. People can use the Lightning Network and not have to risk losing to difference in prices because they can convert it from US dollars to Bitcoin to US dollars, and there's no loss in the exchange right there. Solana, I like, especially under 100. I've been adding Solana more than just about anything besides Bitcoin. Solana is just one of the fastest cryptos out there, cheapest. It's already scaled. It's like Ethereum 2.0, but better. I mean, it's like Ethereum 3.0. It's got a large number of big investors, but all the good cryptocurrencies do right now. So I think Solana is still a good deal at this price. It's still down 55 or 60% from its high. Terra, it was down to the $70 range, like in the 70s. And I picked some up over the last couple weeks. I like Terra. I mean, especially with USD or UST gaining so much traction, people really want UST. Like, it is very valuable right now. People are trying to stake in Anchor because of the fact they don't know what the market's going to do. So the rise in demand for UST is going up. And as the market falls down, there will be more people that want UST to get that 20% rate. As the market goes up, Terra's going to go up because the whole market's going up. So I think Terra is another good one to buy. I'm going to continue to add Terra in small amounts just because I am mostly adding Bitcoin. Cardano, I got some flack on recently because I actually sold nearly 75% of my Cardano because I feel like there are better cryptos to invest in, and Cardano just, I don't know what it does better than any other crypto. The majority of people hold Cardano because They think that either there's a lot happening on the ecosystem, which is true. They think that it's going to scale up in terms of TVL, which I thought as well, but it hasn't grown that quickly. And there's still not a lot of dexes that know how to use it and lock up value, just because they're having so many issues with that after the smart contracts went live. People think they can scale infinitely. They're going from 1 transaction per second to what they think is infinitely scalable, which will be difficult. I mean, no other crypto has been able to do that. And there was some fear in the past about Charles Hoskinson not even having a degree when he said he did. And there's some back and forth on that. I think there is a strong community, and it will go well. It will do well when the market's moving up as well. A lot of people want to build on Cardano. There's a lot of excitement behind it. There's a good ecosystem and a good group of really loyal holders, but I just don't know why I would hold that as opposed to Solana or Terra. I still hold a small position just because of the good things I stated earlier, but I don't want it to be one of my top 2 or 3 cryptos. Avalanche I like as well, very quick, very efficient, but it does have a pretty large inflation rate. There's been some back and forth on that as well, but it does look like it inflates a significant amount compared to some of these other cryptocurrencies. Now, I'm also a big fan of UST. Like I said, I really like staking in Anchor. I talk about that a lot, but it's just a great place to stake as of now. So that's where I hold the majority of my cash. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, though. I've been mostly adding Bitcoin, Solana, Terra, and some Ethereum as well. Let me know which ones you're adding. I just covered the top 10 list, but let me know if you want me to cover some more down the line. I do like Polygon too. I haven't added too much, but I'm not selling any Polygon or anything like that. I do like it as a crypto, layer 2 for Ethereum. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate it. Let me know your thoughts on all this underneath the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.